I'm Sorry on Pure West Sport with Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors on DAB Digital Radio right now across Pembrokeshire and back live on social media as well and on the PWR app, your smart speakers and the website. Huge thank you to Sean Bowen, Pembrokeshire sporting royalty, joining us on the show. Gord, very calm and laid back character, but some sportsman, yeah?
Well, he's at the top of his game, isn't he? Incredible, and the whole family. The horse yard in Letterston there, and he's been brought up with it. But his dedication and the races he's won this season is incredible, and obviously driving 75,000 miles a year. Incredible.
It was some insight, that, Fraser, wasn't it, really, about the life of a jockey and just how tough it is.
Fascinating, yeah, and Gordon's mentioned it in the interview, rightly so, that it's in his blood. The legacy of that Bowen family is just huge. It's immense. I mean, me and Gordon were there in Folly Farm a couple of years ago, I think, when Peter Bowen was presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award. In a couple of decades' time, I'm pretty sure Sean will be definitely to receive it too.
I would say that's nailed on, actually. And talking about Pembrokeshire sporting greats, we haven't done a show together live on social media for a couple of weeks. And in that time, Joe Allen announced his retirement. And he's up there. Of course he is. Such a brilliant player for Wales, fitting that he ends his career as a Swansea City player as well. Fraser, and for you as someone who's followed Wales home and away and seen plenty of Joe's international appearances, just a quick word for him tonight, I think.
Oh, he's had a phenomenal career, Ben. Just an understated individual, an understated career as well, actually very underrated. And it was a pleasure to see him come through. We gone and saw him in his earlier days at Swansea, and there were always the doubts over him physically. Was he too small to ever go at the top level? And he proved people wrong, and he did it with a style that was brilliantly suited. The football that was played by Brendan Rodgers, that's really took him to the next level, I think, playing under him. I think, by the time he came back to Swansea, I didn't mention to you at the time of the signing, he was very injury prone, and unfortunately the last couple of years didn't quite work out as he would have planned. Not the farewell season he would have wanted either, but he has been doing his coaching badges. He's had some great times with Wales as well, so I imagine he will stay in the game now. But I think it was sad to see him go. He'd done so much for the area of Pembrokeshire, but it was also, I'd say, the right time as well. I think form and fitness have been a struggle this season for him.
Yeah, he never forgot his roots. I know. I always thought Gordon as well. I interviewed him, I think probably, I'd say maybe 15, 16 years ago. I was doing a sports show at the time, and Bill wasn't there actually on a Friday night, and Simon Mumford was filling in. I'm sure you'll both remember Simon. He was a real character, a big Narberth rugby man, but a big Narberth person. And Joe Allen's family were from Narberth. I think was his parents dentists, I think, weren't they?
But Steve was a dentist in Narberth.
Yeah, but and Joe came on and was only young at the time, but spoke really well, and he held himself very well throughout his career. And it's interesting that it took him to somewhere like Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in British football, and you talk to Liverpool fans and they rate him. They thought he did pretty well there as well. He was some player, wasn't he?
Oh, he was an excellent player. He was rated as the Welsh Pirlo, they used to call Joe Allen. But yeah, he was fantastic. Fraser and I remember, and you will remember it, Fraser, when we interviewed him after playing against Wolves after a Premier League game, and he scored. He always had time to speak to us when he could fit us in, Fraser. But to be fair, he's had a great career, and he's a real inspiration for the kids around here.
Yeah, okay, and all eyes now will be on the Swansea.com stadium this Thursday, because there's going to be a big Pembrokeshire presence there as well. The West Wales Cup final, it's a big night. Hakin against Tenby. We heard from both camps in the first hour of the show. Fraser spoke to the Tenby skipper and also to the Hakin manager, Scott Davis, as well. Fraser, I think you're heading up, aren't you, on Thursday night? Brilliant to have an all Pembrokeshire final, but which way is it going to go?
It's a difficult question for me asking that I haven't seen anything at Tenby live this season. I think obviously league position would suggest that Hakin United are favourites, and rightly so. People who already bagged the Senior Cup, they're more experienced in that competition. They were in a final only 2 years ago. But we've long said about Tenby all season, haven't we, that we fancied them as a cup team. I fancied them in both the Senior Cup and this to cause an upset, actually. And it will come down to the night. I know it's a cliche, but it is. At the Swansea.com stadium, it's a different environment, it's a different pitch to what we used to hear in Pembrokeshire. But my inclination would be to go with Hakin as favourites for sure.
It's a big occasion, Gordon, isn't it? And you two have seen West Wales Cup finals involving Pembrokeshire sides in the past. But it's a big ground, big pitch. How will the players cope with it, do you think?
They're going to be absolutely excited, and they to play on like a championship playing surface. It's pristine. To be fair, it's a lovely ground, and the pitch is excellent. The ball, there won't be any bobbles, so don't expect that on Thursday night. There'll be no bobble in the services. No, to be fair, I think it's going to be a close game, to be honest with you. Most cup finals are. Hakin got a little bit more experience of being there only 2 years ago. They should have beaten Penlan. They were leading at half time, but they had a poor second half and ended up on the, that's going to give them inspiration. Scott is determined to bring the West Wales Cup back to Hakin. But on saying that, Joe Lee has played for Millensbridge. He's now playing for Tenby. He has the experience of winning it. So they'll have somebody in the changing room who's been there before and can probably give the good information on how they should play it because he's been there. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of people are saying it's going to be quite comfortable for Hakin. I don't see it being a comfortable evening because Tenby have got some quality players as well. It should be a cracking game.
And Fraser, you were saying when we were talking to Dylan that you think there'll be a decent contingent making their way to the Swansea.com, yeah?
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot from Pembrokeshire football there outside of Tenby and Hakin as well. Actually, that's what happened with Millensbridge Care back in 2019. And Gordon's right, Tenby do have game changers. Of course, Joe Lee, he's still a tremendous finisher. He scored and won on that occasion before. The brothers, the duo there, Darryl and Jerome
Williams, yeah.
The Williams brothers been good players for so long, but
Scott Fernie as well.
Another exciting player. But I watched Hakin in that semi-final victory actually, and I just edged with them. Certainly, the strength of their substitutes. They brought Leon Luby, Ashley Bevan that night made real difference, and I just think the experience they've got at that level is a bit more. And I think. You could argue there's more pressure on Hakin. I was actually very impressed speaking to both, as you mentioned there, Tenby captain Dan and Scott Davis in the week. I didn't get the impression that either were getting too frenzied or hyped up about the occasion. They seem to be staying very grounded and calm about it, because that can happen. You can get lost in the fact that you're going out at the Liberty and it's a one-off occasion. You're playing this ground that was championship ground, now was once a premiership ground at one time when Pembrokeshire sides were playing in there, and you can get lost in that and you can get carried away. I didn't get that impression from speaking to either camp this week. Certainly there's probably more pressure on Hakin. There's no getting away from it. This West Wales Cup has hung over a generation of their players. They haven't done it since it was at the old Vetchfield. They had such a great short history of it over those few years. I think 3 finals, won it twice. Gordon might correct me on that, but they've certainly featured regularly in final. They last won it, I believe, in 2003, 1-0 at the Vetchfield. The likes of Kristen Bennett and Paul Jones playing well then. And they've got so close many times since, and they haven't been able to do it. Gary Dawes as a manager, it was always his great ambition to do as a player, as a manager. He couldn't get over the line. Kristen Bennett reached a semi-final. Scott's been to a final. So it's certainly hung over them more, and I think there's probably more pressure and expectation on that front. But I didn't get the impression from Scott he's affected by that.
No.
Okay, well, listen, I'm not going to let the two of you get away with just predicting the winner in a one-off game. I think we need to do some score predictions, given it's an all Pembrokeshire final. So, who's going to go first? Go on, Gordon.
Ben.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, I think there will be goals actually in this game. Big pitch, isn't it? And a big atmosphere as well. Lots of people supporting. I think it'll be an open game. So I'm going to go Hakin 3, Tenby 2. Close final.
Oh, we'll leave it at that then. That's a great prediction. Well done.
Gordon, you can go next.
Oh, you've done the prediction, mate.
Fraser?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Hakin.
Okay. Gordon, we're going to get anything more out of you?
I'll go 4-1 to Hakin United. That'll really wind Tenby up.
Well, this is what Tenby need to do, is just play this show in the dressing room, and they might get that upset. Because I think it probably would be an upset.
It can happen, can it? It's a cup final. Anything can happen on the night. It's who gets the ball in the back of the net the most times wins it.
I do mean to ask before we go off air, boys. Are you two going to be here next Monday to discuss it? What day are you flying to Bilbao?
Well, my friend and I did think, like, what a road trip that would be. Drive down from Calais.
well,
how good would that be? I was going to finish by...
I'm going to drive up to Cheltenham and Ben's going to take me over.
I'll have to take the show there. Probably, has there been a worse Europa League final than the 16th side playing the 17th side in the Premier League, Gord?
Well, neither side can win it. They don't know how to win a game, Ben. So it's going to be interesting who's going to lift the silverware. But yeah, that could go either way as well.
It could go either way. I think it'll be ridiculous, whatever happens. Maybe we'll talk about this next Monday, Gord, a couple of days in advance. Chaps, thank you very much indeed. Some great guests tonight. Good luck to both Tenby and Hakin in that game on Thursday. Good luck to Haverfordwest as well on Saturday. Going for Europe. You can win a couple of tickets to be at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. Head to the Pure West Radio Facebook page right now. We have to go. KT is standing by. The mood train is on the way next. Good night.
Keeping you up to date.